What's going on YouTube? I'm Biohazard here with HoneyBee, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about everything Injustice 2 related, what we liked and didn't like. So let's get into the video.
Hey guys, EE here. I'm really excited to bring on this new product from one of our great sponsors on Beastcoast, Suma Forte. And with me in the chat, I actually have a couple homies who've actually tried this product out already, the Suma Tape, which is really good for their gaming needs.
And they have this transdermal mentholated CBD tape.
I've actually been really looking forward to trying this out. Dude, it does feel good though.
All right. So, talking about Injustice 2, we'll start off with some of the stuff we didn't like. So, right off the bat, the zoning, I think, should be brought up. That's generally the main thing I think the vast majority of people, especially the casuals that played Injustice 2 or watched some Injustice 2, I feel like that's one of the main things that they generally talk about when they don't like, about how they don't like the game. They say about how it's too zoning heavy, such and so forth. And to an extent, I agree. I think the Deadshot meta from when the game first came out and just pew 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 was not the greatest thing to watch, and I think it honestly did kind of hurt the game early on, with just the way that was all received and just the way that was. Starfire didn't really make it any better when she came into the game either.
I agree with that. If we're looking at Injustice 2, Injustice 2 is a game with a very large map space. In comparison to most NRS games, it's closer. The characters are a lot bigger. There's more space in which the characters are just going to play closely together. Injustice 2, lots of space, small characters, very strong zoning tools overall. So absolutely going to be quite annoying for anybody that's not a zoner. And at the same time, yeah, they had the whole Deadshot thing. Deadshot was kind of running rampant. They decided, enough Deadshot, we're going to nerf him. And there were still other characters in the game that they introduced later, like Starfire, who pretty much just continued on the zoning meta and becoming one of the strongest zoners in the game.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where as the game developed more like over time, especially from the competitive scene, it's a lot easier to deal with zoning as the game progresses and as we get more used to it and stuff like that. But early meta, when the game's gonna launch, zoning is one of the easiest things to grasp right from the start, right? When a game comes out, it's easy to know what buttons you need to do to shoot a projectile type of thing. So it's easy to start beating people early on with zoning when it's a new game and people are kind of learning stuff, because they have to take time to try to adjust to that and learn how to get past it and deal with it properly using like meter burn roll, for example, or just, ducking, walking in type of stuff. Maybe it takes patience that, maybe you're not used to. So sometimes zoning can be very, very strong early on in the game, but generally as it goes on, it's not as strong. But part of the issue with, like, I think the way the zoning stuff was that a patch never really came out, which just can kind of segue into the patches, but a patch never really came out to address the zoning and Deadshot and stuff until I believe it was after East Coast Throwdown, right? And that was like, at that point the game had already been out for like 5 months or something like that. So a lot of people that disliked the game had already chosen to stop playing it and just let it go, because they're like, yeah, I don't like Deadshot, I don't want to deal with this game, I don't like it, type of thing. But yeah, when it comes to patches, anything we wanted to talk about with patches?
I would say in terms of patches for Injustice 2, there were some significant patches that changed a lot of characters. The Deadshot patch especially was one of the biggest nerfs to a character ever in NRS history, I think. Maybe. Aquaman got some heavy nerfs as well. He was pretty top tier at the beginning. But that being said, I think there were still a lot of changes to the game that NRS was really trying to, they weren't trying to go overboard, and so there were certain characters that maybe didn't get enough love in the patches as they should have. kind of similar to how MK11, some characters kind of never really changed. Some characters remained at the top, maybe got a couple taps on the wrist, but overall the tier list was like pretty similar for a majority of the game's life. Minus a couple characters moving up here and there.
Right. So like those are some of the not so good stuff. I think the other thing that we could talk about as well would just be the lack of a good online ranking system. It's one of those things where I feel like at the time when the game was out, none of us, I guess, really expected it because we weren't used to having that type of thing. But when you look back at it, like, yeah, that would have definitely made it a lot better if it had a great online system, if it had some kind of ranking system that you could earn rewards for playing and progress through that. It would have made it a little bit more enticing, give it a little bit more longevity, I think, when it comes to just playing online and giving a reason to continue playing it online. But those are really some of the biggest gripes that we have with the game when it comes to just what we don't like about it. Maybe you should. What are some of the good stuff? What are some of the good stuff about it?
What are some of the good stuff? So, well, let's go ahead and just start talking about the roster.
Mm-hmm.
I think overall, Injustice 2 did a great job with the roster. Obviously, there's going to be the stands out there saying, I want Beast Boy, I want Static in the game.
I do.
Obviously, and we want them for the next game. But overall, they did a good job in the characters that they decided to bring back from Injustice 1, as well as the characters that they just introduced to the game for Injustice 2. We got a lot of different character archetypes. We had characters like Captain Cold, who was a trap character. We still had Bane with the armored command grab, so a very strong grappler. We also had Cheetah, who was like, if you played Jackie, the leaping character, but it was really different. It was, she was able to leap in and mix up with all these kind of command grabs and get big damage. There's a lot of different options. You had Supergirl now with quick little combos here and there. There's some good zoning options as well.
Yeah, Blue Beetle with his air mobility as well. Hellboy was also very different. I felt that a lot of characters in Injustice 2 played very differently, which opened it up to letting a lot of people be able to find a character that you could potentially gel with, a character that could fit your archetype, like Brainiac, completely different from like any other character out there. Hellboy, you had your zoning. If you did want a zoner, you did have Deadshot, you did have Starfire. Can't really think of any other zoners.
Dr. Fate.
Oh, Dr. Fate as well, yeah. So like they did have a lot of different archetypes, and then Flash for your rushdown, your pressure, that type of thing. It's like I feel like everything you'd want. Like there was a character that could really hit it if they wanted to. Like you could put the time in and really learn like that character and really enjoy that type of thing. The other thing that was kind of cool that I liked was the fact that it was a legacy game. I liked the fact that characters that were coming back, a lot of them, there was familiarity there. So like you could just pick it up and still, continue where you left off with Injustice 1 and continue like a lot of characters. Flash, for example, like there were a lot of changes that were made. Like, for example, Flash got his windmill hand for his down back 3, where it used to be a flying like uppercut type of thing. So like some combos had to change and stuff like that. But a lot of times the general game plan of a lot of the returning characters from Injustice 1 kind of stuck with Injustice 2. And for the most part, I think it was good. Like I liked the familiarity there. And personally, if they were to make an Injustice 3, I would like it to continue to be a legacy game with maybe little changes here and there.
And I would also say with, the fact that it was legacy, it was very similar to Injustice 1, but they made improvements to some of the things that people didn't really like about Injustice 1. The movement in Injustice 1 wasn't very good. You couldn't really walk anywhere. You had to dash around the place.
Or
so
jump.
They really, sorry?
Dash or jump.
Dash or jump. That was really how you got around the screen. But in this one, they made walk speeds way better, so you can play neutral better. They introduced different mechanics like the roll, so it is very zoning heavy, so at least there was another tool that allowed people to kind of get in there for the cost of a bar. They had another like breakaway kind of system where you could spend yeah, 2 bars to like flip out of a combo. It was kind of risky, but it was a nice little addition to
Yeah.
you know what they already had in the game, which was the what was it called? The clash system.
Clash, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the Clash system still did come back, and I honestly think the Clash system in general is great. So I'm glad that they brought it back and they didn't change anything about it. You could still get it one time, you either get health back or you deal damage based on who's initiating the Clash. And then it just it just was so important in the game. There was just so many uses for it, you know, for extending combos, for rolling, flipping out, super wagers, like
Push
you know, there was
blocks.
push block as well. Like there was a lot of uses for meter. So like it just it just kept it helped the game evolve, I feel, by just having so much options when it comes to like what you want to do in those situations. The other thing that was also really good was when it came to just tournaments, pro tour tournaments, pot bonuses for tournaments, all that stuff. Injustice 2 was actually the best NRS probably ever had, especially when we're looking at year one for Injustice 2, because year one they had like $50,000 pot bonus at Evo. There was pro tours all over the place that had like $20,000 pot bonuses everywhere. The finale for the first Injustice Pro series had like $200,000 in the pot. E-League had $250,000 as well. So there was just money being like everywhere, and you're just like, oh, let me get some of that, or you know. So it was great. There was like a lot of like just drive and incentive for us to just, you know, want to be good. You know, you want to be the best. You want to get a chunk of that change. So like there was definitely like really good incentive there to do well. And also Northern Arena, did you want to talk about that at all?
Northern Arena, basically, just giving Canadians a really good shot at getting some of this money as well. You know, there was a significant amount of talent as far as Canadians is concerned for Injustice 2 as well. And so I think it was just a pretty good opportunity to put spotlight on the Canadian scene in general, to just give us, you know, another opportunity to show how good the Canadian scene really was.
Yeah, and like they also let other scenes shine, like Latin America with the Liga Latina thing that they had. They had the Intercontinental Cup, which let some people from Europe get in there and stuff as well. So, and even from Australia, I know they let them get in there too, and Middle East. So I think Injustice 2 was a great start for like really like opening up the scene a little bit more with the community events and stuff that they had. So honestly, they did a really good job with that, especially in year one, because like there was so much money in there year one. Year two is when it like dipped down a bit, and then they pulled back a bit, but they still had a pretty good pro series for us to still compete in year two. But yeah, like honestly, that was all like really well done.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at
Injustice 2.
MKX, if you look at MKX, it's really all just North American and then some like European events for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, Injustice 2 really did open it up to be more of a worldwide kind of competition, and it was nice to see the growth there.
Yeah, I think MKX did have, you know, for ESL, right? They had people qualifying from like Europe as well, so like they did have chances with that too. But yeah, for sure, it was a lot more, I would say, open when it came to Injustice 2 for like letting different scenes shine, and hopefully they can continue to do those type of things, because it always is nice to see talent being brought up from all over the place. Outside of that, for the casual viewers, good thing, character specific dialogues was a very nice touch. There's so many, I saw so many videos on YouTube from like, you know, all of the lines of Hellboy versus all of these guys or all these girls and whatever, and like these videos would have hundreds of thousands of views. So you know the casual audience love that. Like they love just watching these dialogues of just some of their favorite characters just talking to each other and seeing what they have to say about it.
Well, I mean, also the best thing about the dialogue was, you know, there was so much so many different options when it came to dialogue, but also the little like lore bits that they would throw in, comic related, anything that maybe the two characters had, you know, relationships in the past, whatever, they would like bring it up in these intros and and the dialogue and stuff. So that was really cool. As well as you know, the addition of premier skins and being able to change some of the characters to make them look like, if you want, instead of Cyborg, maybe you want to be Grid, and they actually did all the lines completely different for Grid, and so that was
even with a new voice as well.
New voice,
cool. Yeah.
So it was definitely like you could tell that they really put in the effort. They showed a lot of love to you know, the DC fans out there for sure.
All right, guys, so that is Bio and my opinions on all the stuff we liked, disliked about Injustice 2. Feel free to let us know in the comment section below. What did you like or dislike about Injustice 2? Feel free to like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.